So yeah, I talk about something called phase two. I think phase two is like superior to mainstream manifesting, although that's my own personal judgment. The way I really see it is phase two is beyond mainstream manifesting. So if mainstream manifesting doesn't work for you, let me put you on. Ruthie Benet finished Busting Loose from the Money Game. Yeah, I fucking love that book. A lot of eye openers there. What do I think of the law of assumption? So I have a very unique take on the law of assumption. Hey, Icon Hayes. Welcome. Good to see you here. I have kind of a unique take on the law of assumption. So to me, the law of assumption, the I am statements, I was literally just thinking about this last night, so it's funny that you would ask that. When people think about I am statements and they think, oh, if I tell myself that I am wealthy, I'm going to be wealthy. Like I'm creating wealth. I'm not putting it into the future. I'm creating it now. This is just an example. That can be really difficult for people to do because they say it and then they look around and they don't believe it. But the way that I see it, the law of assumption means you know that it's inevitable. So maybe you're not experiencing it, whatever you're affirming or saying I am about right now. It's not happening now, but geez. My brain is like, hold on a second. I'm getting so flustered. I don't know why. I'm reading comments and trying to talk. That was so weird. I've never experienced that before. It's like my brain is rebooting. Okay, anyway, sorry. Totally weird. I promise. I'm not usually like this. Law of assumption. I am statements. People typically don't believe what they're saying when they say I am. The way that I see it, and this is from a phase two perspective, when you say I am, and you don't believe it, what's really happening is you don't actually believe that your experience is inevitable. So we, in my opinion, we come here to be humans and experience what it's like to be limited in a human body. Why am I in the closet? Because Andre's doing a live stream and I didn't want to pick up his voice and have his microphone pick up my voice. So I put an extra layer between us. So anyway, the way I see it, with phase two, we come here to have experiences, and your experiences are kind of selected for you by your consciousness. Now, you are your consciousness, you just don't realize it. You've kind of forgotten about that. But your consciousness has certain things that it wants to experience, and you know what those are because they're what you desire. You have desires. So from a phase two perspective and from a law of assumption perspective, those things are inevitable. But people don't get them because they're putting themselves in their own way. They're resisting, they're fighting, they're afraid, they're telling themselves stories, they're ignoring how they feel and focusing on their logical mind. And therefore, they just put so much in the way of it and it never unfolds. So for me, the law of assumption is valid, but it's not just about saying I am. It's about knowing that your desires are inevitable, meaning you can't fuck it up, and getting out of your own way. Okay, now let me catch up on some comments here. Hello, 25AC, Icon Hayes. Welcome, everyone. Hi. Again, if anyone just popped on, I'm Sam. I talk about something called phase two, which is different than mainstream manifesting, and it actually works for me and other people. So if mainstream manifesting doesn't work for you, you might want to stick around. This is a Q&A, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and I will answer as many as possible as long as they're not vulgar or disrespectful. Have you heard about the amnesia analogy regarding soul contracts and morality? I don't think I've heard about it specifically, but I think I know what you're referring to because of the amnesia thing. So to me, that's coming here, experiencing whatever we're here to experience and forgetting that we are limitless beings. That's what it kind of registers as to me. However, I don't particularly believe in soul contracts. Like, I don't know, I just don't believe in those. I think that's a little too complicated. I'm just here for a good time. So yeah, I don't do the karma thing. I don't do the soul contracts thing. I don't do the reincarnation thing. I think that we can come back into the game, the human experience, at any point. You don't have to start at the beginning. But yeah, no. Simplicity is for me. I have a serious question I'm going to comment next. Okay, great. Good afternoon. Hi, Paloma. What are your thoughts about saving and budgeting money? I think it's a game you can play if you want to, but I personally don't save or budget. So from my opinion and my own personal experience, money is always going to be there to support you, no matter how much of it you spend, no matter what you spend it on. But the reason people struggle with it and feel like it's not there to support them is because that's the experience they're creating for themselves. If we look at it from the perspective of limitless beings having a limited experience, of course you would create the experience of money not supporting you. However, you created money itself, and you created money to support you in all of your endeavors. So if you want to save and budget, that's fine. If you love doing that, if you love the numbers, if you love putting money away just for funsies, go ahead and do it. But make sure you're saving to save, like saving to experience saving money, and not saving in case of an emergency. Because if you do that, you're going to create emergencies. Same thing with budgeting. Yeah. Namaste. Hey, Big Papa. Caliente. Hello. OMG girl, how do you navigate money problems? My income is at a low level right now since I started. Oh, I wasn't sure if there was more there. Okay. So navigate money problems. I sometimes use the phrase money problems, like just to generally speak about when people struggle with money. However, I don't think money problems are a real thing. And this is coming from someone who definitely used to have money problems, because that's what I told myself I had. Oh, I have money problems. Like, I'm struggling with money. I can't make money. I don't know what I'm doing, like all this shit. But if you look at it again from the perspective of a limitless being having a limited experience, there's no such thing as any problem, because it's just an experience that you're creating. So if we change that part of your question, what you're really asking is, how do you navigate money? My income is at a low level right now. Okay, so your income is low. That's a judgment. But I will say, if you're struggling with money and it seems low to you and you think it's not going to be there to support you, there's a lack of appreciation. Like, fundamentally, that is your core issue. You lack appreciation for yourself. Now, if you appreciate and most people sort of do this, they don't realize they're doing it, but that's why they're not homeless. Most people appreciate themselves like just enough to keep a roof over their head. And so their money experience reflects that. Meaning, people who don't appreciate themselves enough to keep a roof over their head are the ones who don't have a roof over their head. So basically, your money experience depends on how much you appreciate yourself and how much you are willing to put your energy into making sure that the money is there to support you, because you create your own money. And if you don't realize that, if you don't appreciate yourself, you're not going to create the money to keep a roof over your head or food in your pantry or whatever. Now, this probably is like blasphemous to people. It may come across as very controversial, but this is my own personal experience, which, yeah. So advice for you that you can implement immediately is fucking appreciate yourself more. Let yourself feel better. Allow yourself to be happy. In fact, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, because if you stuff it down, it's just going to keep coming back up. Not only that, but make sure you're putting yourself out there more. Share yourself with the world, because you are the world. So sharing yourself with yourself is self-appreciation. Whether that's social media, reaching out to people, going to networking events, sharing yourself with the world. These things create money. They create money. Self-appreciation in any form. Some people's self-appreciation is more outwardly focused, meaning they enjoy putting themselves out there. Other people's self-appreciation is more inward focused, and they really focus on feeling how awesome they are and feeling their happiness and feeling their feelings and being creative and knowing that they created everything. So yeah, don't overcomplicate self-appreciation, but make sure you're doing it. 25 AC, what do you think the STOA is the polar opposite than this? The what? I don't know what STOA is. The STOA. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what you mean. Hey, I love Peach. Oh, I missed you too. Suspension Bell. Hello. I bought both of your ebooks yesterday. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you checked them out, and I'm glad you enjoyed them. I would love it if you could send me like a DM on Instagram letting me know what your thoughts were. Just let me know, because I love reading them. Thank you. Do I do vision boards, Fatima? No, I do not. Oh, sorry, there's a lot of comments here. I don't want to like fall too far behind, but no, I do not do vision boards. The reason why I don't do vision boards is because I know from personal experience that the things that are best for me, I probably don't even know about. So for example, with vision boards, people are always doing all sorts of research, like what house do I want? What does the driveway look like? What does the kitchen look like? How many square feet is it? Where is it located? Blah, 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 blah. All of that behavior comes from your logical mind. Meaning you're being very realistic about it. Even if you think you're pushing yourself a little bit, you're still looking at it from this perspective of, oh, wait, how much is the payment going to be? And can I reasonably afford to live in this area? And does it make sense to have a house that looks like this? Are there any houses that look like this? So it's very logical. I don't do vision boards because I know that the best possible experience for me is already lined up. And I don't know what it is necessarily. Maybe I do sometimes, but I've had many personal experiences where I just let something unfold and have no idea what's going to happen. And what ends up happening is even better than I could have imagined because I just let it happen. So I think having a vision board is limiting in itself. Oh, thanks, Paloma. I'm glad you like Quantum Cash. Thanks for checking it out. Okay. Yes. Let's see. How old am I? 26. Hi, it's Yams. Hello, Olivier. Salam alaikum. Okay. I'm doing well, thank you. I am from the United States. Who funds me? Myself. How old are you? 26. Hey, Crypto Cowgirl. Welcome. Good to see you again. I've done quantum networking and bought and listened to your books, but I feel unworthy. Okay. So have you admitted to yourself that you enjoy the feeling of being unworthy? Because you're not actually unworthy. You just like telling yourself that you are. Because it creates this feeling. That's the point. Like when you say shit to yourself like, I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, it's not the words themselves. It's the feeling that you get from it. The words are just a story. You could be saying, oh, my feet are made of cheese, and you won't feel anything. But when you say those words, you tell those stories, you feel something, and that's why you keep saying it for the emotional response. You'll notice that everything in your life that is consistent, that you're dealing with all the time, is exactly what you have an emotional reaction to. That's why you have it. So same thing with money. If you struggle with money, if it's never there, you get an emotional rush from not having any money. So you'll never create enough money for yourself until you get tired of having that emotional reaction. All right. How to appreciate ourselves more then? Just do it. If you're not doing self-appreciation, there's probably a very large aspect of you that doesn't want to appreciate yourself. And that's fine. Like I've experienced this a lot, especially recently. It got to a point where Andre, my fiance, was like, you are not appreciating yourself at all. Like, it's just like is so obvious that you are running from yourself. And I had two options in that moment. And you have two options in this moment right now too. You either get angry about it and be like, I appreciate myself. You fucking lie to yourself, basically. I appreciate myself. What are you talking about? You're just making shit up. You're just, blah, blah, blah. That's lying to yourself. And that's what I chose not to do. Or you can be like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I don't want to appreciate myself. I enjoy the feeling of not appreciating myself. It's just kind of fun. Like, oh, fuck me. I'm just going to ignore me. Whatever. I don't even care about me. There's nothing wrong with that experience, but it will get difficult to deal with, and you're going to start to suffer and struggle with it if you keep lying to yourself about wanting to appreciate yourself when really you just don't want to. It's fine, but you have to be honest about it. How can I become wealthy? User 202. There are infinite ways. Yeah, there are literally infinite ways. Wealthy, first of all, wealthy isn't just about money. There are people who work in certain fields who make tons of money, millions, but they're so fucking busy. And so they have no time to really enjoy their money. So wealthy is more about having an abundance of time necessarily, or it's more about having an abundance of time than it is about money. So rich is about having an abundance of money. Wealthy is about being free to do whatever the fuck you want all the time. So I'm wealthy, even though I may not have millions of dollars like in the bank, and all that's an illusion anyway, right? I have literally unlimited time. I can do whatever the fuck I want 100% of the time, and I always have the money available for whatever I want to spend it on. So I'm very wealthy. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I have books that I sell on social media that I post about once in a while, and I also get money from assorted other places. I don't even know, and I don't even care. It just comes to me to support me because that's what I've allowed myself to experience, and that's possible for you too. You have to remember, from a phase 2 perspective, again, this is my opinion and this is my experience, we are limitless beings having a limited experience. So the illusion of limitation is there, but that doesn't actually mean you are limited. It's just an illusion. Money can come to you from infinite ways and infinite amounts. Limitless money. Yeah. Okay. Hi, Emily. I love you too. Okay. Blake of America. I'm having a hard time comprehending the difference between self-appreciation and gratitude. Okay, here it's very simple in my opinion. Gratitude is I'm lucky to have all this. Self-appreciation is I created all of this. So gratitude is more about not being responsible, but being fortunate. And self-appreciation is more about being responsible and enjoying what you've created. Yeah. All right. I've been doing just that for the last month. Well, I want to caution you, Caliente. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because if you're appreciating yourself, you're putting yourself out there, you're dropping the stories, you're allowing yourself to feel however you feel, then money will flow to you. I definitely want to caution you against trying to convince yourself that you've been doing something you're not actually doing. Being honest with yourself is so essential for success or for the experience of phase 2. Yeah. Okay. Work from Wi-Fi. I love that. How do you share with the world when you're more inward? However you want to. I'm more inward myself. So I kind of like to strike this balance between doing things for me, because I do a lot of things that don't end up on social media. Like yesterday, I spent all day shopping. I just was like out. I went to a bunch of different places. I bought a bunch of different stuff, but I didn't document like any of it. So my appreciation is more inward focused. And so I find this balance between doing things for myself and sharing some of it with other people. Some people will document literally fucking everything they do and share it with everyone. But yeah, don't put rules on it. I want to definitely caution all of you. If you're going to practice self-appreciation, don't put rules on it. Let it be simple. Ask your intuition what you can do. It will tell you. Stoa are the ancient Greeks who came up with the idea of stoicism. Okay, that's interesting. So I have like no opinion on comparing stoicism to phase 2 or whatever, because there is no comparison. They're just different things, but well, not so much different things. They're different ways to experience all the same thing. It's the human experience through different lenses. So phase 2 is a lens, stoicism is a lens, law of attraction is a lens. I like phase 2, and I'm not going to compare it to other lenses because there's no real point in that. But you can do both. Like, I don't see a problem with being a stoic and being in phase 2. It's fine. Yeah, you're welcome. Excited for Friday. Me fucking too. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, on Friday, just to let everyone know, on Friday we're doing a masterclass for business owners. So if you have a business or you're interested in starting a business, we have a masterclass on Friday that's about how to use phase 2 and self-appreciation to expand your business effortlessly. A lot of people struggle with their business because they don't appreciate themselves and they're always worried about other people, doing stuff for other people, but that's exactly what keeps you stuck. So yeah, that's Friday. The link's in my bio. Okay. But what about all the people who manifest from vision boards and lists? That's fine. Alex, for all. Again, some people love vision boards because they work for them. Some people love the law of attraction, law of assumption, mainstream manifesting. None of that shit works for me. But I think that's just because I'm not supposed to use it. I think I'm supposed to use phase 2 because that's part of my experience. So I'm absolutely not saying that mainstream manifesting is wrong. I'm not saying that vision boards are wrong. I'm not saying that the law of assumption is wrong. I'm just saying that there is an alternative. But I appreciate your question. I love Quantum Cash, really refreshing. Thank you. I'm screenshotting that. I thought it was really refreshing to write also, so I'm glad you felt that way. I appreciate checking it out. Blazing Heart Otaku. My heart explodes when I see you're on live. That is so sweet. Thanks. Yeah, no, same thing with visualization. I just saw a comment about visualization. I don't do any visualizing. Because visualizing, again, comes from this need for control. Same thing with vision boards. You need to control the outcome. You're so worried about making sure you get all the details. You know exactly, comes from this need for control. Same thing with vision boards. You need to control the outcome. You're so worried about making sure you get all the details. You know exactly what you want. But what if the perfect experience for you, you have no idea what it is? Like, what if you can't know what it is until it happens for you? So that's why I don't visualize and I don't have a vision board. I just let it unfold because it's inevitable. My consciousness knows me better than I know myself. And so it knows exactly what experience I would be like crazy for. Even if I don't logically know, or if I don't know from my limited human perspective, you'll still get the best thing for you, even if you don't know what it is. So I let go of that control. Okay. I too am wealthy in time and land. Oh, that's awesome. Good for you, Crypto Cowgirl. What's Quantum Cash? Yeah, so Quantum Cash is our second ebook. And I just saw another question about where to start. So I would start with Quantum Networking. That was our first ebook. It explains everything about phase 2, and it has some freaking crazy stories in it that are like, if the book were just about stories, it would totally be great, but it also is about phase 2. So start with Quantum Networking. That's linked in my bio. Or you can get both of them in like a bundle. But Quantum Cash is our second book, and it's about money in phase 2 specifically. Yeah. ZF 9001. Aspiring Anon. Can I use phase 2 to sleep less? Yeah. I can't sleep less than 11 hours. Okay, yeah, so that's a really interesting issue. I've never heard of such a thing. But if that's the story you're telling yourself, then that's what you're going to create. So it's interesting. You have a limitation that you've been experiencing, which is sleeping too much or more than you want to be. You can change that. You're not a victim of it. But for some reason, you're experiencing it and you're telling yourself the story about it. So I would recommend reading Quantum Networking to learn more about how to use phase 2. But yes, you can absolutely use phase 2 to change any experience. Heather V. Hey, Heather, good to see you. How do you get over worrying about being cringy with content on TikTok or Instagram? Embrace the cringe. That was me. That was me when I first started. I was like, oh my God, this is so cringy. But the reason why we tell ourselves that and we buy into that idea is because of the rush it gives us. The emotional rush. Oh my God, I'm so cringy. Oh my fucking God. Like, what if people see this? Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. There's so much emotional energy there, and it's the emotional energy that you're interested in. The limitation. That's what you came here to experience. Limitation in all sorts of different forms. So when you stop telling the story about being cringy and you allow yourself to actually feel cringy, you'll get bored of it. There will come a time where you'll just be like, are we done with this? Can we stop worrying about being cringy? Yes? Okay, great. Moving on. But you have to allow yourself to feel the cringe or feel the energy. Cringe is just an energy like happiness, sadness. It's all the same energy. There's only one type of energy. But you're feeling this energy and labeling it cringe with the stories and the circumstances. It's the same energy as anything else. Just feel it. You can even use a statement like, I'm willing to admit that I enjoy the feeling of being cringy, kind of like I do, or exactly like I do with the statements exercise. Just updated my Mac to the best they have because I was inspired by you. Oh my God, that's awesome, Doc Fiero. Good for you. Congratulations. Very wealthy. So why are you... I explained this earlier because I live in a shoebox and... my partner Andre is doing a meeting with somebody and I didn't want the microphones to pick up on each other's voices. Will you be having a sale on your books anytime soon? I don't know. Maybe. I do sales occasionally. But yeah, if you're not already following me on Instagram, definitely go follow me there because that's where I talk about sales more often. Yeah, so you won't miss out if you're on Instagram. The Kevin Marquez. What was the very first project you started on this journey? Was it writing books? Oh man, this journey goes way back. The very first project I started with regard to social media was actually a YouTube channel. I had a successful YouTube channel back in like 2019, 2020. And I ended up stopping that because it was so much work for so little reward. So much work for so little reward. Lots of people have YouTube channels that pay a lot of money. The content that I was covering didn't pay. Plus, YouTube literally didn't send me the money that they owed me. So, but I take that as a creation. Like I created that because I wasn't supposed to be doing that on YouTube anymore. And after that, I started my first TikTok, which is actually this one, Miss Money Working. And I was talking about networking with millionaires. So, and after I started the Networking with Millionaires TikTok, that was when I wrote my first book. What was it called? It was called Network Your Way to 100K. What does luck mean to you? Luck is a story to me. I don't think luck is real. You're welcome, Blank. Blank of America. Blake, aren't you that girl from TikTok? Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm catching up on everyone's questions. I'm catching up. So if you've been waiting, I'll get there. Nar MD. Can gratitude and self-appreciation be present together? Yeah, of course. Yes, definitely. The key, though, and this is my opinion, the key is taking responsibility. So you can definitely be grateful, but also realize that you're responsible for your creation. You're responsible for your experience. That's absolutely okay. Gratitude and responsibility go together fine. Yeah, just don't miss the responsibility part. Does appearance matter? Only if you say it does. Erdalek 213. Erdalek. How to get in phase 2 in 3 steps? Okay, that's a funny question. So I would say the 3 steps to getting into phase 2 are practicing self-appreciation, dropping the stories that you tell yourself, and allowing yourself to feel your feelings. So as you appreciate yourself, the way I see it, self-appreciation kind of helps you be more honest with yourself, because when you appreciate yourself, it's hard to get mad at yourself, right? It's really easy to fucking hate yourself when you don't appreciate yourself at all. So self-appreciation creates like the lube that allows you to start being honest and dropping the stories. Now, stories are everything you tell yourself that you just either made up or accepted from someone else. A story can be anything, positive or negative. There is no positive or negative. Some people use that judgment. Even the story, oh, I'm wealthy. Affirmations are all stories too. Stop telling them, because telling stories is creating limitation for yourself. And the third aspect, or the third step, is to practice feeling your feelings, becoming aware of how you feel. None of this has anything to do with mindset. This is a very important distinction between law of attraction and personal development and phase 2. Phase 2 has absolutely nothing to do with mindset. You don't have to do any mindset work whatsoever, because it'll take care of itself. Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. I love it. Okay. Tika, Kinkalo, kittens. I have 4 French bulldog puppies that won't sell. What am I doing to block this? Well, that's a story, first of all. I have 4 French bulldog puppies that won't sell. That's kind of funny because I saw a sign that said French bulldog puppies for sale when I was up for my walk this morning. Weird. Saying that they won't sell is a story. And so you're going to get exactly what you're telling yourself. This is why all stories are limiting. Stop saying that, first of all. And then notice how you feel about actually selling the puppies. Have you sold any of them before? Do you feel guilty about selling them? Do you want to keep them? Is there a part of you that's like, I can't sell these puppies because I want them so bad? You have to be honest with yourself. And once you allow yourself to feel whatever feelings are there, once you become aware of what's actually going on and you stop telling the story, you can allow yourself to sell the puppies. You can allow yourself to have that experience. It's just that currently you have feelings, energy, and stories that are stopping you from actually allowing yourself to experience that. Yeah. It's not necessarily a block. It's more like an experience that you're having, but you want to have a different one. It's just that you're not being honest with yourself about wanting to have that different experience. What is phase 2? Yes, absolutely. So anyone here who's wondering what the fuck phase 2 is, allow me to explain. So losing his mind and KIDYE. Phase 2 is it's like an alternative to mainstream manifesting. So I've been like working with manifestation for a long time, and it never worked for me. So kind of a funny story, I ended up meeting someone who's now my fiance named Andre, who learned something called phase 2 from his mentor way before I met him. This was like 13 years ago. I met him in 2019. And when we met, he started teaching me this information, and I rejected it. But it was fairly recently where I finally started to open up to it, and it's been life-changing for me. And like I said, mainstream manifesting, I've been practicing it for years, and it just never fucking worked. So phase 2 it's like an alternative. I personally think phase 2 is beyond mainstream manifesting. It's a little bit more advanced, but simpler. So the concepts are more advanced, but it's a lot simpler and easier to understand. Yeah. So it works for me. It works for lots of people. It may not work for everyone, but if mainstream manifesting doesn't work for you, welcome to phase 2. Yeah. Self-appreciation is having fun and feeling great doing it. Self-appreciation is just, yeah, that's part of it. Another part of self-appreciation that people miss is just allowing themselves to exist without judgment. Just feeling whatever feelings you have. It's not about like toxic positivity. Self-appreciation is not about forcing yourself to feel good all the time. It's about allowing yourself to feel however you feel. The thing is, though, a lot of people don't actually allow themselves to feel good. And so they don't appreciate themselves. We're all very comfortable with feeling like shit. We're all very comfortable with complaining, feeling awful, feeling obligated, feeling bad. How often do you let yourself really feel good? How often do you allow yourself to share your good feelings with other people? I used to be very afraid to tell people that I was doing awesome in life. I used to be so afraid to say to people, I'm having the best time. Like, I love my life. I'm having just the most amazing experience. Because I was worried that they would be like, you don't have to rub it in my face. Like, fuck you. Like, why don't you feel like shit like everyone else, you know? And that was something I was making up. But that fear came from a lack of self-appreciation. And what I found was the more I shared my joy and happiness with other people, the more they reflected it back to me. So yeah, it's not just about feeling amazing. It's allowing yourself to feel however you feel, including feeling amazing. Self-appreciation the same as self-love? No, not really. At least not in my opinion. I think self-love is like kind of static. You either love yourself or you don't, where self-appreciation is very dynamic. It's always expanding. You're always deepening it and allowing yourself to feel it more and more and more and finding new ways to express it. Where self-love is just kind of like, oh, I love myself. I like myself. Yeah. Hey, Zymaris. Okay. Thank you. I look fresh. That's funny because this lighting is like directly overhead and it's not very good. But thank you. I appreciate that. I got this Fenty moisturizer yesterday from Sephora and I really like it. I've never bought Fenty products before, but I'm very impressed with it. Hey, Manifest with Mary Sims. Both of your books are a game. Thank you, Emily B. That is so sweet. I'm screenshotting that. Great. Thank you. I'm glad you checked them out. Am I reading from the comments? Yes, of course. Where else would I be reading from? Okay. Angela G. Horn. Just purchased both of your books. Started Quantum Networking. Can't put it down. Thank you so much for checking that out. I really appreciate that. I cannot wait to hear what you think when you finish both of them. Quantum Network. I love Quantum Networking. That book is so good. Even after I wrote it, I read through it like 6 times because I'm like, this book is freaking amazing. And the stories at the beginning are my favorite part. By far my favorite part. I'm so sad that I never got to meet Peter. He passed away before I met Andre, but fuck, I would have loved to meet him. Yeah. Most people feel that way, unfortunately. I'm back. I have that theory with life and likes to... Okay, yeah, definitely. Definitely read and listen again. Kate's Melody. Hi, Manifest with Mary Sims. What is phase 2? Yes. The Quantum Networking ebook is my favorite. Oh, thanks. Screenshotting that too. If anyone's wondering where these books are, link in bio. It's available via the link in my bio. You'll see it. It's like the top button. Okay. Pani, Losinka, Pani. I've started to appreciate myself. I felt better, and then I begun to wait in abundance. Did I fail? I'm not sure I know what you mean. I begun to wait in abundance. Like you were doing a lot of waiting? Maybe you could rephrase that for me. I'd really appreciate that, and I'd be happy to answer your question. When was phase 1? You're in phase 1 right now. So everyone starts out in phase 1. Actually, I would even argue that children are in phase 2, but then we go to phase 1 because we adopt all these limitations from other people. So children are very unlimited, and then they grow up and they become limited from society, parents. That's supposed to happen. It's not anyone else's fault. You were supposed to accept their limitations, and now you're learning to unlearn them. Yeah. So everyone's in phase 1 already. This is recorded. Yes, it is. So you're going to be able, I post all my recordings on YouTube. So if anyone missed any part of this or you want to watch it again, I'll put it on my YouTube channel later on. As soon as I finished quantum networking, I started getting paid for using my gifts. That's freaking awesome. Good for you. I'm screenshotting that also. So many amazing reviews. Congratulations, Mary Sims. You did that yourself. I love that. Authenticity. Authenticity is the key, they say. 12-sided guy. Yeah, they say that. It's a story. I personally think authenticity is, I don't know, I don't even pay attention to it. To say authenticity is the key is just to tell a story. Other people say consistency is key. Other people say relationships are key. Other people say having an investor is key. Like, whatever, you know? Just a story. Blazing Heart Otaku recently read Busting Loose from the Money Game. It does a good job at explaining reclaiming your power. Yes, it does. That was one of my favorite things about that book. I will say that we are actually developing a method that's simpler. Even simpler, and I've been using it, and it's been just like so crazy. But yes, Busting Loose from the Money Game, Reclaiming Your Power, amazing places to start, for sure. Okay. Yes, we're going in order from top to bottom. So if I'm taking a long time, it's just because I have a lot of things to say. I'll get to your comments eventually. Thank you for your patience. Ritab 888. Which book should I buy? Quantum Networking or Quantum Cash? Start with Quantum Networking. So that's the one that's about phase 2. It's like an introduction to phase 2 with lots of detail. And it also has some really amazing stories in it, true stories, from my fiance Andre's mentorship with Peter, who taught him all about phase 2. So yeah, definitely start with Quantum Networking. Thanks for checking them out. Hello from Cape Town, South Africa. Hi. Okay, Maximum 1187. What can you say about fear of having success or that success comes too fast? That's a really interesting question. So from my perspective, fear is what happens when something is in motion and you put the brakes on. So fear of success is realizing, even if you can't really like see it, you don't know where it's coming from. Fear of success is realizing that success is unfolding for you and then putting the brakes on. So you're like, no, this is too fast, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Which is fine. It's just an experience. We are limitless beings coming here to have a limited experience. That fits the bill. That is a very limited experience. But the key to it is not to fight against the fear. It is to acknowledge that the success is already happening. So when you acknowledge that the success is already unfolding, or the fear, let's say you're the fear, the failure. Some people are afraid of failure. When you acknowledge that either the success is currently unfolding or the failure is currently unfolding, what you're left with is honesty. And from that place, that honest place where you're like, we're just doing this, it's just happening right now, you can sort out what stories you're telling yourself and how you feel about it. So that's it. You acknowledge that it's currently in motion, and then you identify the stories you're telling yourself and how you feel, and you just allow yourself to feel those feelings. That's it. Stop telling the stories, feel the feelings. I will say, and people have asked me this a lot before, when I talk about fear and they say, well, I'm afraid of dying alone. Like, are you telling me that's already happening? And my honest answer is yes, it is. Because you are investing energy and emotional energy into the experience of dying alone. And you're telling yourself stories about it. Yes, you are actively lined up with that experience. But that's not going to change unless you're honest with yourself and you say, yes, I am emotionally invested in the experience of dying alone. How can I change this? You don't actually have to do anything to physically change it. You have to be honest with yourself and you have to drop the stories and feel through the emotional response. It's that simple. Yeah, so if you're afraid of failure, you're creating your own failure and you're investing in it. That's why it's happening. It's already in motion and you can change that, but you have to stop, investing in it. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Business bitch 101. I'm freaking out though. I'm almost there. The closer I am, the more doubts I get. Oh, I think I missed your other question or something. Business bitch. Oh, I'm not seeing it. Okay, yeah. So, are you referring to success? Business bitch? You've been losing weight. Thanks, Menina. Yeah, that's so funny. Wait. That's so funny. Oh my God, wait. Oh my God. Holy shit, I just had the greatest, epiphany. So I've been beating the fuck out of myself about, not being able to fit into my pants from a few years ago. I had, a terrible 3 years, and my ass, expanded, and now I can't fit into my old pants. And I've been beating the shit out of myself, oh my God, I want to lose weight so bad. I want to drop, 10 pounds. I want to fit into my old pants again. Putting a lot of energy and stories into that experience. And then you say you've been losing weight. And my first reaction is, oh, whatever. You know what that tells me? That tells me I don't actually want to lose weight, which is why I'm not. But apparently I look like I am. So that's funny. You were supposed to say that to me. I created that experience. So don't feel bad about it. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just, I've just had this crazy eye-opening experience. I don't think I actually want to lose the weight. I think I've been lying to myself. Oh, fuck, it's true. It's true. I've been working with phase 2 for so long that I know every time I say something and I laugh about it, it's true. So, oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me. I feel so stupid right now. That is so funny. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Okay. Should we have a call after this about affiliate stuff? Oh yeah, did you DM me? Sorry, I got a bunch of DMs from people and then I forgot to send the DM or send the email about it. So I'm going to scroll through my Instagram DMs after this, and if I missed you, I will set that up for you. Icon Haze. I'm going to screenshot that so I don't forget. Okay. Do you recommend meditation, Ruthie Benet? Sort of. I sort of recommend meditation. I think people overcomplicate meditation. I don't really meditate the way that people traditionally say you should, because I just don't like that experience. I think it's so overcomplicated. That said, what I do is I spend time with myself. So I'll sit on the couch, or I'll sit at a coffee shop, or I'll sit at a park, or I'll just sit somewhere, put my phone away, and I'll just feel. I just breathe. And whatever feelings come up for me, I feel. That's it. That's meditation to me. And yes, that's something I do. The reason I do that particular form of meditation, if that's what you'll call it, is to help myself develop awareness of what's actually going on with me. As you may have realized, listening to me talk about phase 2, it has a lot to do with how you feel. It's just that most people overlook how they feel and focus on their mindset and, their thoughts and shit. And because they're overlooking how they feel, what they don't realize is they have a feeling about everything they're creating. And it's that energy that is creating the experience, not the thoughts. It's the energy. So awareness is really key. Awareness of what you're actually feeling. What form of manifestation are you talking about? I don't know if I understand your question. It's something called phase 2. So, Blake, sorry, I'm not trying to sound condescending. I'm just trying to figure out how to explain this. So phase 2 is a different methodology, I guess is a good word. I didn't want to say technique or strategy. It's a methodology. So basically, on a fundamental level, phase 2 is about realizing that you created your entire experience and it's all consciousness, including you. Everyone has the same consciousness, and consciousness is like it's like the console for a video game. It's the game itself, it's the TV, and it's the person playing the game. So consciousness is everything. You are consciousness too. And that is how you create from. That's the foundation from which you create your experience. So phase 2 is about taking responsibility for absolutely everything. And that's the form, I guess. Botanical Glow by Virginia. What do you think causes you to reject phase 2 at first, even when you saw it working for Andre? That's a great question. And my answer is just that I really needed things to be harder than they actually are. So I saw Andre like creating shitloads of money effortlessly, like literally effortlessly. And I hated it. I hated it. I like wanted it, but I didn't want it. And I wanted it and I didn't want it. And I was enjoying the experience of suffering and struggling and things being really complicated. And it wasn't until I got really bored and tired of that experience that I let go of it and opened myself to the simplicity of phase 2. So it was really just that I just was having too much fun suffering, which is why. And that's a lot of people's issue too. Paloma, I'm starting to feel more at ease since listening to you. Before I wasn't being present nor allowing. Good. Allowing myself to feel. Good for you. Glad to hear that. Thank you, TJD. I love the way you look right now. I appreciate that. I just got back from a really, really, really long walk. So I haven't done any makeup, and this is the same shirt I was wearing when I was walking. Yeah, I didn't know my shit. Thank you. That is such a great compliment. I'm actually going to screenshot that too. I'm putting together like an appreciation board. It's not a vision board. It's an appreciation board where all the like compliments and things that people give me are going to go on it. And so I'm going to read through it. Yeah. And just bask in the glow of the compliments. Thank you. All right. Let me catch up on some comments here. If you've been waiting for me to answer your question for a really long time, I'm so sorry. I'm just going top to bottom. Yeah. Okay. Barry Baraka. Hi. What compartment of life do you think we should keep the most discreet? None of them. None of them. I personally don't compartmentalize. I appreciate everything about my life, and I am also very open to sharing everything about my life with people. That's not to say that I do share everything. It's just that I'm open to it. I'm open to that experience. And when I share things with people, I like 99% of the time, people come to me and they say, wow, like, it's so great to be able to relate to you on this issue because I've been dealing with this too. And that is my own creation. That is me creating people to reflect that back to me and appreciate me for sharing myself. So I don't believe in keeping anything discreet. I think that if you have something to share, by all means, share it. And I was talking about this earlier with how we sometimes keep our happiness like under wraps because we don't want other people to feel like we're rubbing it in their face. But that's non-self-appreciation, and that's why people struggle with money and creating their experience. Raven Thayer. Hey, Raven. I feel like self-appreciation is about showing yourself love even when you don't have a lot. Yes, absolutely. It certainly could be about that. Self-appreciation has a lot of different interpretation and forms. So if that's what resonates with you and that's what you enjoy and that's something you would like to do for yourself, by all means, do it. Yeah. Yes, I definitely encourage anyone and everyone to appreciate themselves the way that they feel drawn to doing it. There are no rules to it. There are no rules. It's really just about being yourself and allowing yourself to, I don't know, sharing yourself with the world. Yeah. However that looks to you. Doesn't mean you have to be on social media. It doesn't mean you have to do anything because that's going to be different for everyone. Be you and share you. We can all go back to the childlike state of being limitless. Abso-fucking-lutely we can, Ruthie Benet. Zizatu. I tried to purchase your book, but the link is not directing me to a page. Does it work in Dubai? I think it works in Dubai. It should work. What you can try is going to my Instagram and using that link. I find that people sometimes have to go to either Instagram or TikTok because it's not working on whatever platform they originally tried it on. My Instagram is linked like directly in my bio. It's right next to the follow button. It should work though. Blazing Heart Otaku, lying is the key. I love both of your ebooks so much. Thank you. And the community on Circle. Yeah, the community is super fun. I'm so thankful for you. I can't wait to go to the quantum networking event. Yeah, we're going to have another one, I think, a couple weeks from now, maybe? It's been a while since we did one. Any idea even simpler than this? Then phase 2? Possibly. I don't know. If there is an idea that's simpler than this 25 AC, I'm not aware of it yet. So I'm sure I probably will become aware of it at some point, but we're even finding ourselves, me and Andre, that there are ways to simplify it. So like I said earlier, we've even developed a way to make it simpler than it already is. Yeah. Alex Forel, any idea to folks that have limitations such as schizophrenia or bipolar where delusions play a part? Yeah, again, these are stories. I will say a little bit of a disclaimer. I've never suffered from schizophrenia or being bipolar. So whatever I say, you know, is coming from someone who's not actually dealt with these things. But what I will say is I have seen people heal things like chronic pain. In fact, Andre himself had chronic nerve pain caused by an accident that he suffered. And he healed that himself because he was able to, not so much able to, but he like chose to let go of his emotional attachment and the stories that he was telling himself about the pain. A lot of people, when they have illnesses like schizophrenia, chronic pain, whatever it is, autoimmune things, they kind of identify with it and they tell themselves stories like, oh, I got a bad hand. Like I'm just unlucky, or this is just who I am. This is my story. This is my struggle. And they have a lot of energy invested in that, a lot of feelings. But ask yourself what would happen if you got to a point where you were like, I don't care if I have schizophrenia or not. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Or I don't care if I have chronic pain or not. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. And you remove your emotional reaction to it. To the point where it's like, are we done with this? I don't know. Maybe it just exists. Maybe it doesn't. Are we done with it? Like, do we need this? If you were to try that out, if you were to get to that point, the changes that you may experience will probably surprise you. But yes, that's kind of what I have to say about that. It's really about dropping the stories, or becoming aware that you're telling yourselves the stories and then dropping them, and noticing how much emotion you have invested in the experience of having those symptoms or illnesses or experiences. That's it. I sound wise despite being young. Thank you. Thank you. I personally don't think there is a correlation between wisdom and youth, or lack thereof. Age, perhaps. But thank you. I appreciate that. Sarah with an H. What is a tip for when you are appreciative for weeks and then you get hit with a heavy feeling day? Feel it. Definitely feel it. Yeah. So like I said a couple times, self-appreciation includes allowing yourself to feel however you feel. And if you have a really heavy feeling day where you just feel totally shitty, feel shitty. Allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. Because it's not very self-appreciative to stuff it down and try to be someone who you're not in that moment. Doesn't mean you are a miserable person. That doesn't mean that at all. But some people, sometimes we have miserable days. That's okay. And that's a judgment in itself. But yeah, just let yourself feel it. It's fine. It'll go away. In fact, the more you resist it, the less it goes away. The more it comes up. Leah, yes, referring to success. Okay, wait, totally sorry. Your other question was way up there. So referring to success, it's coming, sorry. I totally forgot what you were asking. But yeah, no, like I was saying, it totally relates to the thing about fear of success. It's inevitable. It's unfolding in the moment. And when you become aware of that and you're just like, you know what, fuck it. Whatever happens, happens. And you remove your emotional response and you drop the stories. That's non-resistance. That is you getting out of your own way. Yeah. Hey, Carlo. Carl Olson. Hi. Welcome. Hey, Eden Grace. Good to see you again. TJD, I love your TikTok about asking objects what they think of you. Isn't that a crazy exercise? I tried that. It's a funny story. I tried that exercise with Andre, particularly a specific part of Andre, and the answer that I got was really interesting. I don't know if I should put all of our business out. Like, it doesn't matter. Okay, here's the thing. So Andre and I have a great relationship. It's just that, like, sexually, it's a little bit, like, awkward. Very, very long story that I'm not going to get into. It's just that part of our relationship is kind of clunky, not very smooth. And I asked him, in my mind, like I was describing in that exercise, what he thinks of me. I didn't ask him directly. I asked, like, him as an object or as a thing or as a being, what he thinks of me. And the answer that I got was that he wants me, but I'm the one who is, like, resisting the experience of having, you know, a sexual relationship with him because I'm afraid of commitment. Which is so accurate, because I'm afraid of commitment in so many areas of my life. Like, every single area of my life, I have this level of fear of commitment. And so to me, what I've been creating, the experience I've been creating, is telling myself the story that if Andre and I have a great sex life, I'm going to be stuck with him forever. And all this, like, crazy, stupid shit. Crazy stories. But I've had emotion invested in it. And I had no idea until I asked him. I asked consciousness. I asked the consciousness of him what he thought of me. Crazy. This just happened, like, today. Yeah. Oh, fuck. Shit. I love your laugh. Thank you. You're tapped in. Oh, yeah. No, I'm a Gemini. Renaissance May. I'm gonna be telling a bunch of stories right now, but I've heard from a lot of astrologers that being a Gemini, I have communication skills. And I'm not just, like, a bit of a Gemini. I have Gemini, Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Mars, I think. Yeah. So lots of communication. And I definitely, when I'm streaming, it's just, like, coming out. I don't even think. Yeah. Okay, Metaphysical Max. You can set your weight in the subconscious and let your body adjust accordingly. I do believe, I definitely agree with that in a way, but I will kind of say that in phase 2, from a phase 2 perspective, there is no subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is often used as an excuse and a way to not take responsibility for what you're creating. People will say things like, oh, my subconscious mind is causing me to be broke, or my subconscious mind is causing me to hold on to this weight. I have to reprogram my subconscious mind. That's them not taking responsibility for their own creation. That's like a thing. So I've kind of let go of the idea that there is a subconscious mind, and that's just me. Like, this is just my perspective, my opinion. If you want to believe in the subconscious, by all means. But I do definitely agree with you that we have control over our physical appearance and our weight, and the way that we look is a reflection of what we are emotionally invested in and the stories we tell ourselves. I love listening to you, Eden Grace. I've learned so much and implementing it in my life. Thank you. That's so sweet. I appreciate that. I've been reading Busting Loose from the Money Game, and it's so mind-blowing. Oh, I am so happy to hear that. That's, like, one of my favorite books of all time. I should email Robert Scheinfeld and tell him that I'm sending a bunch of people to his book. Yeah. Scheinfeld is great. I love him. He's one of my favorite authors. Yeah, Gemini Stellium. Yeah. I would come in on this part at fear of commitment. Yeah, it's crazy. But, like, just like fear of success or fear of failure, fear of commitment comes from putting the brakes on something that's already happening. There is already a commitment. And what I realized was I was associating commitment with being stuck. And that's totally made up. Like, that's not even true in the slightest. But I was just invested in the idea that if I'm committed to something, I'm stuck with it forever. And that doesn't sound very fun. Of course, it doesn't really mean that. The Riz Queen. Yeah.